state of Oklahoma. I joined this Pamper Chef journey roughly about 8 years ago, and I can honestly say I absolutely love what I do, and I know you've heard that from several others. Over the next 15 minutes or so, I'm just going to share some basic tips, and I'm warning you they're very basic tips. I think we sometimes get away from that, which allows our business to begin to fall apart. And what we have to do is go back to the basics. So I'm just going to share some tips with you that I feel like has helped me to experience a tremendous amount of success in my 8 years with the Pampered Chef. When I first started this journey, I was very fortunate to be able to attend a national conference within the first year of my business. And it was at that conference, kind of like Erin said, that I sit in the audience, just kind of gawking at all the fabulous, inspiring leaders. And I was so excited and eager to learn and wanted to do great with this business that I really was like a sponge trying to pick everybody's brain that I could to see what were the key components that I needed to do to be successful. I just needed somebody to tell me that. So in the very beginning, one of the very first leaders that I visited with shared with me that in order to be successful with the Pampered Chef, I needed to work my business under a very simple format, a formula. That's called the 3-2-1. How many of you guys have heard that? Yeah. So if you're a seasoned consultant in this business, you should know everything about the 3-2-1. For those that are very new, this may be something that's different to you, or maybe that you haven't heard. But I'm here to tell you that if you work your business by that, it really works. So let me just ask you guys, how many of you guys know what the 3 stands for in that formula? 3 contacts a day. The 2 stands for? 2 shows a week. And the 1? 1 recruiting a month. Yeah, that would be my team over there. Alright, so if you haven't heard that formula, you're not familiar with that formula, I'm here to tell you no matter what your position is, no matter how long you've done this business, how short you've been in this business, that's what it boils down to. Okay? If you're working 3-2-1, you're never going to run out of business. So that's one tip that was shared with me. It's very basic, very simple, but I've worked my business by that and I've never run out of business. Okay? The second tip was I had the honor and the privilege at that same conference to get to have a conversation with Ms. Doris Christopher. And I asked Doris in that conversation, I'll never forget, I introduced myself and told her how excited I was to be on this Pampered Chef journey. And I just wanted to know one tip that she would share with me that I would experience the success that I was looking for. And Doris turns and looks at me and she says, 2 shows a week, no matter what. And I know all of you guys have heard that. And she told me that if I worked my business under 2 shows a week, no matter what, that I would experience pretty much all the success that Pampered Chef had to offer. Well, that sounded pretty simple to me. And it was the founder telling me to do that, so by golly, I was going to do exactly what she said, okay? So I went back home, I started making phone calls, and I got my show scheduled to 2 shows a week, no matter what. And 8 years later, I have worked my business religiously based upon 2 shows. Now, the interesting thing of that is the second part of her telling me that, she told me that I would achieve everything that the company had to offer. Well, I trusted her, and everything that she told me was exactly right. I earned a trip every year that I've done this business, a top-level trip, okay? Out of my 8 years in this company, I've been an Excellence Award Achiever in recruiting 7 of the 8 years. I've been an elite seller for quite some time, and I've always earned excellence in sales. Now, that didn't come by luck. That came because I took the advice that she gave me, and I worked my business consistently doing exactly what she told me. So I know some of you guys may be sitting there thinking, well, we all know that. Are you all doing that? That's the second part of that question. I'm kind of like Tamil. You may not like me after this because I just shoot it like it is. My team will tell you that. So they're very basic principles, but I'm here to tell you that they work. So 3-2-1, 2 shows a week, no matter what, has been the foundation of my business. So those are the first 2 tips that I would like to share. The second thing that I'd like to share is a booking tip. And I think Erin mentioned this at a training that Sherry Carr did with my organization, My Upline. She told the story of Laura Inglewood, who was working to earn a Disney trip. It was several months into the year, and Laura was bound and determined to earn this Disney trip for her and her girls. But she realized that she needed to book more shows to make that happen. Now, I've always been consistent with my business, but I can't sit here and lie and tell you that I went into every show saying I was going to book 3 parties. If I got 1 or 2, then I was pretty happy with that. But after listening to that story and how remarkable it was and how it changed Laura's business, I thought, why can't it change mine? I'm doing good, but I want to do great. So I'm going to shoot now, not for 1 booking or for 2 bookings, but I'm going to shoot for 3 bookings. I didn't create this. Laura gets the credit for this. I went back and it did exactly what we were told to do in that training. So ever since then, it completely transformed my business from now having a completely full calendar for months to come. All because I do that simple process of working to get 3 shows booked and dated on my calendar before I walk out that, before we close that party with every single host. Now there's a couple of tips that I'll share with it. How does that happen? Number 1, you have to partner with your host the day you book the party. This is not just about me, this is a partnership. So I'm going to say to him, Michael, we're going to be partners and we're going to work to maximize all the rewards that Pamper Chef has to offer. I want your hosting a show with me to be an amazing experience. And it's my job to help you to accomplish every benefit and reward that the company is willing to give you. Not only do I want you to receive those awards during this time of the party, but guess what? I want those awards to come further down the road, months to come. And how is that going to happen? It's going to happen because we're going to work to get shows booked on your calendar from your friends. And when you go to those parties, you're going to get 1 item half off at every single one of those. Michael, how does that sound to you? Michael's probably going to be pretty excited about it. Now, it's very important to me that I get those 3 bookings. So I let him know, Michael, just because I love to pamper my hosts, I'm going to sweeten the pot for you. When you get 3 dated bookings on my calendar by the close of your party, I'm going to reward you with a fabulous product. Is it worth it to me? Tennille gave you the exact same example. Absolutely, it's worth me spending that $35 because when you do the math, I've gained a whole lot more than that. Now, do I always get 3 bookings even though I work my butt off to do that? No, I can't sit here and tell you that. When I don't, the first thing I do is I offer my host to rebook. Well, Michael, I know that we're really disappointed we didn't get that 3rd booking, but how about let's rebook you in 6 months. Let's put you on my calendar. I'll have all new products to show, and then you get to still cash in on that fabulous bonus. You don't have to miss out on it. How does that sound to you? Most people are not going to turn that down. So guess what? I rebook him, and I still accomplish my goal of getting 3 bookings. Sometimes that doesn't work. And when that doesn't work, and I'm sitting there with 2, guess what happens? That means I have to get on the phone. And I really don't like getting on the phone. Okay? So it pushes me to work really hard to get them at the show. But if I don't, I set a personal goal for myself to go outside of that party to accomplish another booking that I can attach to that party. And when you do that and you make it a good habit to book 3 at every show, you will never run out of business. Because if you're doing 10 parties and you're getting 3 at every show, you guys do the math. That's a lot of parties. I'm not doing anything great. I'm not any better than anybody else in the room. The only difference is I'm willing to put the work in and I'm very intentional about making it happen. So if you're sitting there looking at your calendar thinking, man, I need to do something different, I encourage you to take a look and be intentional about getting 3 bookings. Okay? The next tip that I want to share is a tip on recruiting, which is truly where my passion is in this business. It's a simple, very simple tip. Every consultant should be doing a recruiting activity at your party. Now, if you're someone sitting in the room and says, I don't want to recruit, then so be it. But if you're sitting in the audience and you're someone who has a desire to build a team, and you're not doing a recruiting activity of some type at your party, you're truly missing the boat. I can promise you, if you come up and ask Stacy Izzo or Sharon Zellen or any of the other great recruiters in this business, do you do a recruiting activity at your show of some type? Every single one of them are going to tell you yes. Doesn't mean we're all doing the same thing. The important thing is that we're doing something. Everything is not a fit for everybody. I tried many different activities before I found what was a niche for my personality. I choose to do the recruiting activity by using cards. Some people refer to this ticket activity by using cards. And I've done the same thing, people, for 6 years. So if you come to 20 parties in 6 years, you saw the same game. But guess what the beauty of it is? I'm still recruiting at high numbers. So there's not a reason to change it. It works. Now, does that mean I do it at 5 of my 10 shows a month? No, I do it at every single party. There are many times that I walk in the room expecting 20 guests and I have 2. It happens. It happens to all of us. Do I say, you know what? I'm really not in the mood to do this. So I'm just not going to do the recruiting game today. Doesn't happen in my business. And I learned early from a show, by that same reason of not wanting to do a party, of not wanting to do the game because attendance was low, and felt the need to go ahead and do it because I owed that to the guests that were there. And guess what? I signed both of those consultants at that show. So that was an eye-opener, game changer for me to never not offer that opportunity. So at every single show, I do the exact same thing. So my tip to you is, number one, if you're not doing that, a recruiting activity, find something that works for you. You're in the ideal spot. Over the next 3 days, you're going to hear from some amazing leaders that are recruiting at extremely high numbers. They're going to share those ideas with you. Take them. Go back home. The important part is decide you want to do it, work at getting great at it, and do it at every single party, no matter what. Okay? So that's the tip. It's no magic. That's my tip for recruiting. So in closing, I want to leave you with this. Your business, your Pamper Chef business, can be exactly what you want it to be. Tracy and Doris, along with all of the home office staff, are doing an amazing job over the last couple of years to put each and every one of us in a position to be better than ever before. And if you don't believe that, that's a huge problem. You need to do a self-check with yourself, I promise you. Okay? Things are happening in this company that I've never seen happen in the 8 years that I've been here. And it's happening for the betterment of each and every one of us, no matter what your level is, from consultant all the way up to national exec. I am truly proud to be able to say that I work for a company that not only listens to us, but also looks out for us. Don't get caught up in the naysayers. All the folks that come around with all the negativity, don't allow yourself to be dragged into that. Put that energy and effort into making you a better you.